Welcome back to our journey through the weird and wonderful world of 1970s technology. In part 1, we explored the dawn of digital, from the first home video games to the computers that started a revolution. But the 70s wasn't just about what was happening on a screen, it was about a lifestyle. It was about looking good, feeling cool, and having the right gadgets to make your everyday life feel a little more futuristic. So today, in part 2, we're looking at the gadgets that defined the groovy lifestyle of the 70s. The Clairol Pretty Power hairdryer. In the 70s, getting ready in the morning was a race against time, and companies were always trying to invent the next great shortcut. Clairol's solution was the Pretty Power hairdryer. This was a wild two-in-one gadget shaped like a hairbrush but with a built-in dryer. It promised to dry and style your hair simultaneously. No juggling a brush and a blow dryer required. It was a brilliant idea, right? Well, not quite. While it was innovative, it was also bulky and lacked the power of a regular blow dryer. Plus, it wasn't as easy to use as a normal brush. Still, it was a fun and futuristic attempt at making personal care easier. A quirky relic of beauty tech history. LED belt buckles. The 1970s were all about making a statement, and nothing said, "Look at me," quite like a belt buckle with your name scrolling across it in glowing red lights. These funky accessories had little light-emitting diode, or LED screens, that would scroll short messages. Imagine walking into a disco with your belt buckle flashing, "Let's dance," or even just your name. It was like carrying a tiny piece of Times Square right on your waist. These belt buckles weren't just a fashion accessory. They were the life of the party, a totally unique way to blend the fashion of the disco era with a touch of futuristic tech. The electric ice crusher. The 70s was the golden age of the home cocktail party, and if you wanted to be a sophisticated host, you needed crushed ice for your upscale drinks. This is where the electric ice crusher came in. This bulky, loud machine promised to turn regular ice cubes into finely crushed ice, making every home feel like a fancy lounge. However, the reality didn't quite match the hype. The gadget was noisy enough to wake the neighbors. It took up valuable counter space, and frankly, it required more effort than simply cracking ice cubes in a bag with a mallet. It looked futuristic, but most people realized a sturdy glass and a bit of muscle worked just as well. Mr. Microphone. This next one is a legend. For a kid in the 70s, Mr. Microphone was pure magic. It was a simple microphone with a short antenna that could broadcast your voice through any nearby FM radio. I remember getting one for my birthday and feeling like I was the most powerful person on the planet. You could hijack the family car radio during a road trip to provide your own commentary or sing along to your favorite songs like you were the lead singer. It was famous for its cheesy television commercial and that unforgettable slogan, "Hey, good looking, we'll be back to pick you up later." It was a simple, brilliant toy that turned every radio into your personal megaphone. The car phone. Long before cell phones, if you wanted to make a call from your car, it was a major production. The first car phones were enormous, expensive, and looked like military equipment. They often consisted of a large transceiver box that was mounted in the trunk and a clunky handset that was installed near the driver's seat. You couldn't just dial a number. You often had to go through a mobile operator to connect your call. It was a technology reserved for the very wealthy or for high-powered businessmen. Seeing someone talking on a phone in their car in the 70s was like seeing someone land a spaceship. It was the ultimate status symbol, a strange and clunky preview of the connected world that was still decades away. The microwave oven. It's hard to imagine a kitchen today without a microwave, but in the 1970s, this was a revolutionary and slightly mysterious piece of technology. Early models were enormous, incredibly expensive, and often called radar ranges. I remember my friend's family got one, and we would all just stand there and watch in awe as it heated up a cup of water without any visible flame or heat source. There was a lot of suspicion around them at first. People wondered if they were safe. But the sheer convenience of being able to reheat leftovers in minutes or cook a frozen dinner in a fraction of the time was undeniable. It was a piece of space-age technology that slowly but surely found its way into the heart of the American kitchen. The electric fondue pot. No 70s dinner party was complete without a fondue pot bubbling away at the center of the table. This wasn't just a kitchen gadget, it was the centerpiece of a social ritual. Whether it was cheese fondue with chunks of bread or chocolate fondue with fruit and marshmallows, the electric fondue pot brought people together. Everyone would gather around with their long, color-coded forks, dipping and chatting for hours. It was an interactive, fun, and wonderfully messy way to share a meal. The fondue pot was more than an appliance. It was an excuse to gather your friends, slow down, and just enjoy each other's company. Mattel Electronic Football. Before the Game Boy, our handheld video games were much simpler. In 1977, Mattel Electronic Football became one of the first and most popular handheld games, and despite its simplicity, it was wildly addictive. The football players were just little red dashes of light on a tiny LED screen. The game's sound effects were nothing more than a series of beeps, but that didn't stop it from becoming a bestseller. I remember spending hours huddled over that little screen, trying to guide my blinking red dot past the defenders to score a touchdown. It may look primitive now, but at the time, this pocket-sized marvel felt like the future of gaming. The CB radio. In the mid-70s, a full-on cultural phenomenon was born from the world of truckers, the Citizens Band, or CB, radio. Suddenly, everyone wanted to have a CB in their car. It was like an early version of social media, but with your voice. You could chat with other drivers nearby, get traffic updates, and warn others about speed traps. Movies like Smokey and the Bandit and songs like Convoy made CB lingo mainstream. Suddenly, everyone had a cool handle or nickname and was throwing around phrases like 10 to 4, good buddy, and what's your 20? It was a craze that created a unique sense of community on the open road. The Sebring City Car. And finally, a gadget born from a crisis. Thanks to the massive oil crisis of the 70s that sent gas prices through the roof, people started looking for alternatives to their giant, fuel-guzzling cars. Enter the Sebring City Car. This was a tiny wedge-shaped electric vehicle that looked like something straight out of a cheesy sci-fi movie. It was small, boxy, and ran purely on battery power. But while it sounded great in theory, the reality wasn't quite as exciting. The city car had a very limited driving range, couldn't go very fast, and wasn't exactly winning any races. Because of these issues, it never really took off, but it definitely paved the way for the electric vehicles we have today. From hairdryers shaped like brushes to cars that look like a piece of cheese, the 1970s was a decade that was never afraid to experiment. These strange gadgets are more than just forgotten plastic. They're a reminder of a time of bold imagination and fearless innovation. Thanks for joining us on this journey through some of the weirdest tech of the 70s. What's your favorite forgotten gadget? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more.